South Korea, and I want to introduce some real Korean food today. I grew up in restaurant. My mother was running this successful restaurant in downtown Busan, South Korea, and there's a lot of seafood dishes that really delicious that I want to share my mother's real recipe. So first dish, we're gonna go for NakJi Bokum. It's in Korean, it's an octopus dish. I'm gonna actually show you which ingredients we need to make this spicy octopus dish. If you go to Korean grocery store or any big Asian market in big city, if you go to frozen section, this is kind of melt a little bit, but you can find octopus. So I bought these two kind of large size, actually you can make it for about 3-4 person serving size. And other ingredients we need today is a little bit of salt, and this is red pepper grind. It's a spicy one. This is sugar and ground or chopped garlic, little bit of sesame seeds, and sesame oil, and black pepper, little bit of cooking wine, anything you have, but I prefer to use this, sake for Japanese brand, whatever. And this is soy sauce, and you need again, we're doing for about 3 or 4 people serving size, so 1.5 onion, 2 carrots, and lots of green onions. And you can actually put udon noodle at the end, and some people prefer to use ramen noodle, but I use, again, you go to any Asian market or especially Korean market, definitely they have it. This is sweet potato noodle, and which if you boil it for about 3 to 4 minutes, which is starting with the really boiling, and turn it down to really low, and about 3 to 4 minutes, and that's what you got. Let's start with the cutting vegetable and octopus before I make sauce, and let's start with the onion. Just cut it half. And we can actually layer it later. I'm going to try to show you how exactly we serve at the restaurant when I was growing up. But you don't have to, do it exactly like I do, but just try to make it pretty. I would say about 3 to 4 centimeters. Of course, I cut up the head, and there's a little tiny thing in there. I just took it out and washed it well. And let's start with cut the half part. And this part is actually tricky. I'll leave it about, I would say about 5 centimeters and cut it right there. And what you gotta do is slice. People actually eat octopus when alive, you know, it's one of these, if you put it in your mouth, there's stick all over in your mouth, you know, but chocolate. So I'm going to show you how to make my mother's favorite sauce. I know a lot of Korean food lovers in the States, when they think of spicy food, they think of gochujang, which is red pepper paste. That's a lot of people use. But if you go to Korea, if you have a real NakJi Bokum, they actually make their own paste. Okay, let's start with the pudding soy sauce. I'm using these quarter cups. Any type of soy sauce if you want less sodium. I'm using just regular soy sauce. So let's put, I'm just looking at how much ingredients I just cut. One thing, I mean, since I was 13 and 14, grew up in restaurant, I had to cook a lot, so just looking at it, I know amount, how much I have to put it. Okay, so I used 2 of these, so I would say about half cup of this. And you want to make sure same amount of sugar actually. So 1. I know it just looks like wow, that must be really sweet, but actually not a lot of this strong flavor goes in. So I say 2. There you go. So I'm gonna use, mine is my mother actually, she cleanses, grinds it. She luckily, you know, she actually sent it all the way from Korea. So this is actually really spicy, nice one. I'm gonna go put 1, 2. So now. And this is a surprising part. If you go to real seafood restaurant in Korea, they use a lot of garlic. So now grinded fresh garlic. I would say about let's do with the spoon. I would say 1 big 2 spoon. And now the cooking wine or cooking sake or whichever you prefer, any cooking wine. I got this from Asian market, any Asian market carries this one. And I am using sweet sake for cooking. So you can choose either non-sweet and sweet, but I prefer sweet. So, and we use using cooking wine in this dish. A lot of Korean dishes use cooking wine, especially when you cook seafood. Of course, it gets rid of all the seafood smell. Also, when you cook meat, if you don't want any certain type of meat smell, you also get rid of it and gives you a really delicious sweet flavor, and it's great. Okay. And okay, now before you actually put sauce, just black pepper. I'm gonna grind it. Quite a bit, but I love black pepper, so I'm gonna put a little more than normally we served at the restaurant. Okay, now you wanna put, I would say, about 2 big spoons of vegetable oil. Let me just, I always make a 3-circle. Okay. You don't have to put, you know, all at once. You just put most of them and cook it first and see if you want them, you know, want it more spicy. You can always add it. So I just added a cup of water, and this is sesame oil, which, yeah, it's gotta be. I mean, any Korean food, you gotta have a sesame oil. So I would say about a like big 4 spoon of sesame oil. Now, so we're gonna actually start cooking, and I'll show you how it comes. Already boiling for about 3-4 minutes. This type of noodle, you put it together, and you wanna boil it till it gets clear color, which I would say about a minute or 2. Now it's all done and ready to eat. Thank you for watching this, and my name is Naya. Bye.